All right, so I'm going to be grabbing the blocks so that we can do those hip dips, those pyramid modifications. Not necessary. You can simply come up on the spider fingers, but I like to have them. They're nice. You can always abandon them, jettison them at any time. And also a strap nearby if that is going to be helpful for you when we do the hand to toe pose. Again, not a necessity, but nice to have on hand if you like. But we are going to start the practice on our backs in a Supta Padangusthasana. So it might be a lot for first thing in the morning. So gauge your body and how you're feeling. Every morning is different. We supposedly go to bed in the same bodies and then wake up in the same bodies, but it doesn't always feel like that. So coming onto your back, and if this is accessible to you, start to walk the soles of your feet together. Let your knees start to drop out to the side. And then you gauge what feels best here, especially in your inner groin and your low back. It might be helpful to slide your shoulder blades down, press against the back of your head, look up your hips, and then switch it down. If that is too much of removing the natural arc in your low back, then rewind just a bit. Take one hand to heart, one hand to belly, unless another hand placement makes more sense to you. And either close your eyes or let your eye gaze soften. Allow yourself to enter your body a little more mindfully. Become present with your breath, your physicality, how they're interrelated. And I invite you to set a dedication or intention for this practice this morning. We'll take just a couple breaths together as community to set these dedications. Deep breath in, embrace that expansion, and a full exhale. Again, very deep inhalation. Let go. And then once more on your own. Allow your eyes to blink open. Take your hands to the backs of your legs. If you took this variation for first posture, bring your knees up to the center. Pull your knees in towards your chest. And then take your hands either to your thighs or to your shins and pull in towards you. Find a little bit of activity to your toes, whether you're flexing or pointing. And if it feels okay, maybe rock a little bit from side to side. So you're getting a little bit of sensation across the back of your body, as well as you pulling your shins towards you. You might feel some stretch in your hip flexors here. And depending on whether you have your knees pointed straight, so parallel to each other, or if you have them a little bit wider, it's going to alter the sensation for you. So maybe take just a moment to experience that. Then extend the left leg out. Right leg comes up toward the ceiling. Hand to the back of your right thigh and start to draw your right leg back. Make sure that you're pressing down through your left hip and through your right hip. Press up through your right heel and soften your jaw and the muscles in your face. Release the right leg, extend it up, and then extend left leg up. Interlace fingers opposite way, if you can remember the way the front one was, or the first one rather. And then start to draw your leg closer towards you. Activity through both feet, pressing down through both sides of your hips. And then release that. Pull both knees into your chest. You're going to rock up and down the length of your spine, and you're going to flip over your hands and knees and make your way to a downward facing dog. If that sounds like all way too much, then roll to one side and then find your way to down dog. From your downward facing dog, whenever you get there, lift up high to your toes and then pivot your heels over to the right. Press your chest a little bit more towards your left thigh, making sure that you're still reaching out to the insides of your inner elbows. So they're pointing forward. And it might feel like your shoulders are starting to wrap, your shoulder blades rather wrapping down around your midsection. Lift your toes and pivot to the opposite side. Come back to center. Bend your knees, look towards the top of your mat, and then step or hop to the top for a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Really lengthen out. We're going to stay in this halfway lift for just a couple breaths. So think about pressing your feet down and away from each other. And then you might feel a little more activity in your outer hips. Make sure that you're sharing your weight equally. This might mean you need to shift the weight a little bit more to the balls of your feet. Shoulder blades are pulling back. Low belly is in. If your hands don't comfortably touch the mat, you can either bend your knees or take your fingertips to your shins. Just make sure you've got a little tiny bend in your knees if you do so. Okay, keeping all this activity in your legs. On an exhale, start to reach your chest towards your thighs. And then maybe even take a moment to play with what it feels like when you are not pressing your feet down and away, and you just kind of like let your legs go soft. But when you press down and away, you might find that you can hinge forward even further. So finding more activity, more life here. Building more heat with not a lot of movement. Again, shift the weight towards the balls of your feet so it's not all the way towards your heels. And then soften ragdoll pose. Notice the difference here. Bending your knees, you can take a clasp, you can rock a little from side to side. And then release your fingertips down to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Once again, press your feet down and away from you. Exhale, fold, keeping that activity. Keeping that activity in your legs, reverse swan dive. Take your arms out and up. Notice how it might help stabilize you. Exhale, hands to your heart center. And then arms alongside your body in Tadasana pose. So given the pose that we're going to work up to in our peak pose, we're going to play with the different poses that build into it, eventually making them all the way. So we are going to take a version of Utkatasana here with the feet separated. If it feels better for you to together, then please do that. But know that we are going to take a hip lifted heel. So arms lift, low belly in, shift your weight back, wrapping your pinkies toward each other. And then when you're ready, shift up onto your toes, lifting your heels up. On an exhale, swing your arms back, hinge forward for a drinking bird. Inhale, come back to the lifted heel Utkatasana. Maybe keep your heels lifted the whole time. If they drop, that's fine. Second time like that, hinge forward, arms reach back, palms are down. Maybe get parallel toward the floor with your torso. Again, inhale, come back up, heels lifted. Exhale, drinking bird. And then keeping your torso like so, release your heels down to the mat, take your hands down to the mat as well. Inhale, halfway lift, offer your heart out. Exhale, fold. You're going to step back to top of plank pose. On an exhale, lower through chaturanga, elbows graze through your ribcage, chin slightly out. Untuck your toes, inhale, upward facing dog, or if you prefer a cobra. Exhale, up and back to downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg comes up and back. On an exhale, take your knee to your nose and place your foot between your hands. Maybe keep the right palm down as you do so. We're going to take those hip dips and the modified pyramid. So if you want to use your blocks, bring them in a little bit closer. If not, just come up onto finger pads. Inhale, drop hips, reach your heart forward, show your shoulders back, bend your left knee. Exhale, up and back, straight or straighter legs, reach your chin to your shin. Inhale, drop your hips, reach your heart forward. Exhale, take it up and back. One more time like that. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, up and back, chin to your shin. We're going to stay here for just a few breaths. Keep your right hip drawn back, press down through both feet. All right, lift up halfway, rebend into the right knee, set the blocks to the side if you use them. Weight to left palm, pull your right fingertips up toward the ceiling. Inner left elbow facing forward. So you're turning your arm kind of like inside out. And then spin all your toes away from you toward the right. You're on the razor edge of your left foot. Lift up your right hips. All right, look down to your left hand and then take your right hand down to the mat. Immediately here, we're going to move into a lizard pose. So wiggle your right foot out to the right. So your right hand is to the inside, your foot is further out. You can keep your left knee up or down, depending on what makes the most sense for you at this moment. Shrug your shoulders back, find length. And then on an exhale, you're going to start to descend down, either onto forearms or onto a block, or maybe just a tiniest bit in your elbows. And then with your right foot, press down through your big toe mound, little toe mound, and the center of your heel, so your right knee is facing up. It might feel comfortable if your right toes are slightly out to the side. That feels pretty good on my body. All right, when you're ready, press up into your hands, lift up. Realign your right foot, so walk it in so it's in line with your hip and your right hand is to the mat. You're going to take your right heel to your bum and then strike up to a tripod dog. Yes. And then place your foot next to the other, back to downward facing dog. Just take a couple breaths here. Recenter, reset. Acknowledge the way your body feels. Maybe your right leg feels about 1/2 inch longer than the left. Inhale, left leg up and back, long, straight, strong. Lift up onto your right toes to help you out. On an exhale, place your foot between your hands. Maybe keep the left palm down. We're gonna take those hip dips again. So if you like the blocks, pull them in. 3 times like this. Inhale, reach your heart forward. Drop your right knee, gaze up. Exhale, send it all the way back, modified pyramid. Inhale, carry it forward. Space through your collarbones. Exhale, take it up and back, chin to shin. Last time like that. Inhale, up. Exhale, take it back. I'm gonna hang out here for just a couple breaths. Loosen through your jaw and your forehead and the muscles surrounding your eyes. Then lift up, rebend into the right knee. Set the blocks to the side if you use them. Right hand to the mat. Start to open up. Left fingertips turn up. You're in a low lunge twist. And then when you're ready, you're going to spin all your toes away from you. You're on the razor edge of your right foot. Lift your hips high, flexing both feet really strongly. So a lot of times at this point, we would move to like a side plank. But right now, I mean, if that really speaks to you, then I want you to do it works for best for you. But right now, I am focusing on simply getting the rotation of my rib cage and lifting my hips up, trying to keep my right heel down and exploring this sensation. All right, look down towards your right hand again. Spin all your toes back to the front of the room. You're in a low lunge. Wiggle the left foot out to the side so we can set up for this lizard lunge. Again, maybe left toes pointing out slightly, hands below your shoulders. Reach heart forward, inhale. Always an option to drop the right knee if you did so on the first side. And then when you're ready on an exhale, start to lower down. Slightly bend elbows, block, or all the way down to your forearms. And again, find that same engagement by pressing down to those points of your left foot. This is just going to keep your left knee pointed up more than simply dropping to the side. All right, start to press up to your hands. If you took that forearm down approach, so walk your left heel in, so your hand is to the left, your foot is to the inside. And again, we're going to take that strike up to a tripod dog, pull your left heel towards your bum, and then extend all the way up. And then when you're ready, place your left foot next to your right, downward facing dog. Take several breaths, acknowledge this posture, and giving it its full respect. Bend your knees, look towards the top of your mat, and on an exhale, step or hop to the top. Forward fold, inhale, halfway lift, offer your heart. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, take your arms out and up. Keep your fingertips lifted, separate your feet, hips with distance apart. Sit low, utkatasana. And then rise to your toes, your heels are lifted. Exhale, swing forward, drinking bird, palms are down. Inhale, come back to utkatasana, maybe with lifted heels. Fierce pose, exhale, take it forward. One more time like that. Fierce pose, and then drinking bird, and then forward fold, release. We're going to move into a revolved half moon pose. So inhale, lift up halfway. You've got blocks nearby. If you want them, you don't have to use them. Left hand out in front of you. So in line with your left foot, right hand to your right hip, point your right elbow upward. Inner left elbow, knock it forward. You're going to start to extend your left leg up toward the ceiling. So comes back. Again, doesn't matter if either or both of your legs are straight, but you want to make sure that your right hip is long. You're lifting up to the inside of your left thigh. And if and when you're ready, your right arm lifts up toward the ceiling, fingertips pointing upward. All right, things get a little bit fun here. Take a little bend to your right knee. You're going to stand your left foot all the way back so you're in a high lunge, but keep your left hand lifted. Right hand drops behind you. So right hand to left thigh, left fingertips up toward the ceiling. We're going to travel back to that same pose, that revolved half moon. So lean forward, right hand is up, left hand comes down. Find a little bit of that tick-tock. One more time like that. Bend through your right knee, step your left foot back, right hand to left thigh, left fingertips up. Nice. Come back to that revolved half moon, really like leveraging the strength of your right leg. And then take your right hand down to the mat. So you are in a supported warrior three. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna come up to standing. Take a little bend to your right knee for strength and balance. Pull your left knee in toward your chest. Hands to hips. Nice. Okay, so things can get fun here. You can either take your hands just to your knee, or if you'd like, we're going to move into a hand to toe pose here. So figure out what your balance feels like today. If you're moving with me, take your right hand to your right hip, left peace fingers and thumb to your big left toe. Extend your left leg out in front of you, drop your left hip, press out through the heel, and then open the left leg over to the left. Maybe send your gaze over towards your right shoulder. Keep your ribs in, everything moving to your midline. And then take your left leg back to the front. Rewind your path, pull your knee in tight. Release the foot, stand down. See if you can conserve energy, come to Tadasana. Just giving your right leg a little bit of a break, and we're going to move into regular tree pose here first. So shift the weight back to the right leg, and then kind of mimicking that same shape you just made, right? Like we had like the hand to toe, leg out, everything was extended and rotated out. You're going to place your left foot into your right thigh. So really accentuate that rotation, pressing down to the right foot. And then even though your left knee is out to the left, making sure that your rib cage is facing forward. Hands to heart center for your position that you choose. Or the position you choose for your tree pose. Once you get to where you're going, 3 breaths. After that third exhale, take your hands back to where they belong, either to your chest or your hips. Bring your left knee towards the front of the room, stand down. And then stand in Tadasana for 3 more breaths. Active Tadasana, pressing down through feet, lifting up the crown of head. And when you're ready, inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, forward fold. And then we're going to take that same bit of a sequence again. So inhale, lift up about halfway, right hand out in front of you. Again, you can use a block if you'd like. You generally want your wrist to be below your shoulder, left hand to your left hip. When you're ready, sweep your right arm, leg rather, behind you. Lift up your left thigh, point your left elbow up toward the ceiling. When you're ready, left fingertips come up. Revolved half moon. Yes, 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 yes. Press through everything that's touching the ground. Lift away with everything that is not. Bend through your left knee, step your right foot all the way back. Left hand drops, right hand lifts. Nice. And then when you're ready, you're going to take the reverse path back to revolved half moon. Yes, keep your left shoulder pointed up. Right rib cage is wrapping up. Again, bend through left knee, stand it all the way back. Left hand drops, right fingertips are up. And then take it all the way back. Last time for this revolved half moon. And then you take your left hand down, so you're in a supported warrior 3. There you go, just like that. All right, remember, you're lifting up through your left thigh, lifting up through the inner of your right thigh. And then shift the weight to your left leg, little bend to the knee, bring your knee up to standing so your thigh is parallel to the ground. And again, we're going to either take your hands around your shin and simply work on balance here, or start with the left hand to left hip. Peace fingers the right hand to the big toe of your right foot. Begin to extend your right leg out in front of you. And then if and when you'd like, open your leg out to the side, finding that external rotation, maybe glancing over your left shoulder. Nice. Okay, keeping the grip best you can, take your leg back to center, bend your knee, and then release your foot or your knee. Come to Tadasana for 3 breaths. Option to have your hands at your heart center. And then we take traditional tree pose here. Shift the weight back to the left leg. Knee comes up, open to the side, and then take your variation. If you want to use your hand to assist you getting to this posture, then please do that. Again, finding that external rotation through your right thigh. Hand placement of your choice. Once you get to where you're going, 3 breaths. Remember to press the foot in to leg, leg into foot. And then when you're ready, Release some of that tension. Take your right knee back to the front of the mat and stand down, Tadasana, for 3 breaths. Inhale, palms lift up, send your chin up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, offer your heart. Exhale, fold, step back to plank pose or float to chaturanga, flow through vinyasa if you'd like, and we will meet in downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, bend your knees, look towards top of mat, and exhale, step or hop to the top. Forward fold, inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Let's see, your left hand, is this right? Left hand out in front of you, right hand to your right hip. We're gonna take that revolved half moon, right elbow points up, bend through your right knee. You're gonna stand all the way back for the high lunge twist, exalted. And then move back to your revolved half moon. Place your right hand down to the mat. We only do it 2 times this time. So we're in a supported warrior 3. When you're ready, come up to standing, pull your left knee in towards your chest. This time we're going to move to, actually just stand your left foot down so you've got a little stability while I talk for a second. This time we're going to move into that tree pose, but instead of having this placement, we're going to take the Ardha Padma, the half lotus option, okay? So when you're considering the way you're moving your body into that pose, think about when we were doing the standing hand to foot, everything was revolved outward. That is going to serve you here as well. So see here. So we're on our right leg. Bring your left leg up. You can take your leg in your hands, your foot in your hands. It might be helpful to take your hand to your calf or your thigh. You want to rotate your thigh out. As you do that, the sole of your left foot is going to start to point upward. And then you want to place the edge of your foot into the crease of your right thigh. And you're going to flex your toes to try to keep your foot close to you. Does that make some sense? Okay, so once you've got that foot in, you have the option to keep your hand here, your right hand to your left foot. If you'd like to take this further, take a little bend to your right knee, and you're going to start to come all the way over in a forward fold while keeping this bind. You can keep your right hand to your right foot or take your hand down to the mat. If you come all the way down to the mat, see if you can point to your left knee down to the mat as well. Just breathe. And also, if you've got blocks nearby, they can make the ground a little bit closer to you if you'd like. All right, a little bend to your right knee. Start to lift your way back up. Take your right hand to your foot, left hand to your left thigh, and then unravel. Stand down. Come to Tadasana. Arms alongside your body or to your heart for 3 breaths. When you're ready, inhale, arms lift, send your gaze up. Exhale, forward fold all the way. This time we're going to take the left hand out, right hand to your right hip. Is that right? Extend. I'm sorry. Right hand is out. Left hand to left hip. Right leg extends out. Every time we do revolve, it's like, what's going on? So revolved, half moon pose. Left fingertips or left elbow or up. When you're ready, bend through the left knee, stand all the way back. Left hand drops, right hand lifts up, exalted and twisted. And then when you're ready, on an exhale, carry it forward to that revolved half moon once again. And then take your left hand down to the mat. So you're in a supported warrior 3. Keep long through your left thigh. Keep all of that length. Maintain that core strength. Bend through your left knee. Come up to standing. Right leg lifts. And then stand down. Just to get a little bit of release to the left leg as we move into that Ardha Padma, Vrikshasana, and then we do the forward fold. So weight to left leg, right leg lifts. You're going to start to rotate your femur out to the side. And again, maybe actually take your hand to your thigh to do that. You can see your right foot lifts up. You want to make sure that your sole of your foot is pointing up. Drop your knee down. and insert the outside of your right foot into your hip crease. Pointing your knee down best you can. You can always keep your hand here, but flex your foot regardless. You're still drawing in your core, so finding all of your strength here. Option to stay here, or if you'd like, start to tilt forward. Again, option to have your hand to your foot if you'd like. Maybe your hands come down to blocks or all the way to the mat. If you're all the way down here, if you're looking for more intensity, start to point your right knee down toward the mat. This is also going to help you keep your left thigh long and pointing upward rather than dropping into the hip joint. All right, as you're ready, start to make your way back up. Always an option, take your left hand to your foot as you transition up to standing. And then do take your hand to your foot and to your leg to carefully unwind, stand down, come to Tadasana, arms alongside your body or hands at heart. 3 breaths. Inhale, arms lift, chin goes up. Exhale, forward fold. Release your hands. Inhale, halfway lift, offer your heart out. Exhale to honor yourself. And then take a vinyasa if you would like. Give yourself 3 full rounds of breath in your downward facing dog once you get there. And then start to walk your hands back to your feet. So you're in a forward fold at the back of your mat. Take your hands to your hips, point your elbows up, shoulders roll onto your back, chin out. Inhale, come up to standing. And then exhale, come into your Tadasana. All right, we're going to move to our posture now. So Padangusthasana Padma Utkatasana. So like all the pieces that we've been doing, we're going to put them all together. So we're going to start like we were setting up for the half lotus of the tree pose. And then you're going to incorporate into it Utkatasana. We'll come all the way down, and then we'll just play with our balance and see where we go from there. There's a lot of different steps along this posture, and you're practicing it. You're in the pose no matter what, as long as you are placing your intention and your focus where it is needed. So we're going to start with placing the weight on the left foot first. Make your way into that half lotus posture. So right knee comes up. Rotate so that your right upper thigh comes down and your right foot comes up. Flex your foot and place it into your hip crease. So flex strongly, press thigh to foot, foot to thigh. Awesome. Okay, you can keep your hands right here if you need that support. So if so, take your left hand to your foot and right hand to your heart center, or you could take both hands to your heart center. So start to bend through the left knee, starting to come down. At some point, you're going to come to a place where you need to lift up your left heel. At any time when you'd like, you can take your hands down to your mat and we can just guide ourselves this way. Super advanced option would be you keep the heel lifted all the way down and don't bring your hands down. We're not going to work on that today. We're going to work on simply getting into the posture. So you're flexing your foot, your heel is up. Maybe you start to walk your hands back closer alongside your hips. And then you take left hand up to your heart, and then maybe also your right hand up to your heart. All right, now let's come out of this pose whenever you're ready. Take your hands out in front of you, start to lift up your hips so your leg comes closer to straight. Keep a little bend in your knee as you come up to stand. Hands to foot, help yourself unravel. Step it out. Get some blood flowing. Questions, thoughts, concerns?
That was great. I kind of fell down at the bottom, but
so did I. I was like, I can't.
Is that right? The way that I did it?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to look more carefully the second time around. Okay. Awesome. So I'm going to get into the pose. I'm going to get closer so I can do like a better view of you guys. Same but different. Onto your right foot. Lift up your left leg. And then rotate. This is going to start to pop the inside of your left foot up. This is going to serve you well. Place your foot, the outside of your foot, into your hip crease. Flex your foot. Hand to foot is totally possible or not. Okay. Hands to heart, hands to hips. Whatever's going to work for you here. Start to move through Utkatasana that we've been practicing earlier, right? Lowering down. Maybe lift up your heel. Eventually it will lift. I'm going to take the version where our hands come down. Keep flexing that foot that is in the half lotus. And then if and when you're ready, you start to bring your hands into your heart center. All right. Beautiful, Tamara. There you go, Emily. So keep pressing, Emily, keep pressing that foot into your hip crease. Yes. And sometimes we fall out of the pose. How was that second side?
That was good. I like that.
Awesome. So it's a fun one. We can certainly revisit it. You can see how all those other postures lead into it and are a part of it. So come back to the top of your mat. I know we just ended at the, or began at the back of the mat. And come to your Tadasana. If you prefer Samasthiti with hands at heart center, please do that. On an inhale, lift up your hands and your chin up. Find lots of length. On an exhale, forward fold, hinging at your hips. Release your hands to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Step back to the top of your plank pose. And if you would like to take a vinyasa, please do so. Otherwise, simply press back to your downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look towards your hands, and then just hop to a seat in the center of your mat. Roll onto your back, keeping your knees bent. We're going to take a bridge pose here, so make sure that your heels are in a little bit close to you and not too far apart. Shrug your shoulders down, so you've got shoulder blades securely on the mat. Press through your feet, hand your shoulders, lift up, roll up your spine. And you can either keep your hands here, grip your mat, or walk your shoulders underneath you to grasp your hands. Interlacing your fingertips. Press down through your pinky edges if you've got that variation. And keep on having your chest chase your chin and your chin chase the sky. As you're ready, if you took the hand clasp, unclasp your hands so your shoulders are flat onto the mat. Start to roll your spine down, maybe even lifting up your heels to give your hips a little bit more space. Separate your feet out a little bit wider than your hips. Drop both knees over to the right. Take your knees up to center, drop both knees over to the left. And then take both knees up to center. Pull your right knee into your chest, extend your left leg out. Supine twist. Draw your knee across your body. Adjust your shoulders, and then send your gaze over to the right if that feels okay. On an exhale, take your knee and head back to center. Right leg extends, left knee draws in, and then make similar adjustments but to the opposite side as you come into your chest. On an exhale, take your head and knee back to center. Realign everything. Pull your knees in close to your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins. Pull your forehead up towards your knees. Take a very deep breath in. And then on an exhale, release all the way back, coming to Shavasana, final posture of this class. Extending your legs out. Allow your hands to rest somewhere that feels comfortable, where you can be still. If another variation of a physical body shape is going to be better for this, like if you wanted to come back into that Supta Baddha Konasana, that's something that's always available to you. Allow your body to rest and simply be. Bring your thoughts back to the dedication you set and re-engage some deeper breathing. Acknowledging this waking up. An intentional movement. So eventually roll over onto your right side, pausing for several moments to reflect. And then as you're ready, making your way to a seated posture for a brief reflection and meditation. On an inhale, bring your arms up toward the ceiling, palms press above you. And on an exhale, take your thumbs to the space between your eyebrows for clarity of thought, to your lips for clarity of speech, and then to your heart for clarity of action. Bow your head to your heart in honor, in gratitude, and in humility. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me, and thank you for helping me deepen my own. In the name of the highest good, namaste.